Hello, my participants, those who regularly join my class. I request all of you to participate and enjoy the class. I hope that this class is going to be a unique class because I am going to deal with the topic relative clause in the continuative sense and relative clause in the restrictive sense. It is a vital grammatical item which is really very important in your later life. You will be able to write independently, confidently, and enthusiastically. However, let us start. I should not make my introduction lengthy. And welcome to my channel, An Easy Step to English Grammar. This is the grammar class. First, let us start with relative clause in the restrictive sense. For example, you see that the bird which is whistling on the topmost twig of the tree is not visible. I have framed or constructed the sentences only for your understanding. I know that your exams like West Bengal Civil Service Preliminary Examination and at the same time West Bengal SSC examination are on your threshold. Okay, I should not waste my time. The bird, just follow me. The bird which is whistling on the topmost twig of the tree is not visible. Now let us analyze the sentence and we will be able to understand the meaning very clearly. The bird is not visible, principal clause. It is obviously principal clause. The bird is not visible. Okay. Which is whistling on the topmost twig of the tree. It is subordinate adjective clause or relative clause. Qualifying the noun, bird. I have done or I have written all these sentences only for you. So, the bird is not visible, principal clause, which is whistling on the topmost twig of the tree, subordinate adjective clause or relative clause, and qualifying the noun, bird. Okay. So, it is an example of complex sentence and a relative clause or adjective clause. And if you were asked, what is the relative clause or what is an adjective clause, your answer will be a clause that qualifies or modifies either a noun or a noun phrase or a pronoun. Again, I am repeating, a clause that qualifies or modifies either a noun or a noun phrase or a pronoun is called a relative clause or adjective clause. Now let us come to the second example. I have found a book in our study. Hello, my dear viewer who has joined my class. Just give a like, just comment and tell your friends that I am live streaming to discuss relative clause in the restrictive sense and in the continuative sense. Okay? However, I have found a book in our study. In our study means in our library. Okay? Which is written by my grandfather. Which is written by my grandfather. So, if we analyze the sentence, it will stand thus. I have found a book in our study. Principal clause. What is a complex sentence? A complex sentence is a sentence which has only one principal clause and one or more than one subordinate clauses is called a complex sentence. Okay? So I have found a book in our study, principal clause, which is written by my grandfather. It is subordinate, adjective clause or relative clause, and qualifying the noun, book, not the study. Here, the antecedent is at a little distance. And if you ask me, what is an antecedent? An antecedent is either a noun or a pronoun or a noun phrase which is qualified by the relative pronoun who, which, what, etc. Okay? An antecedent always precedes the relative pronoun. I may repeat it in Bengali. Antecedent হলো একটা noun or একটা pronoun or একটা noun phrase যেটি কোনো রিলেটিভ প্রোনাউনের অর্থাৎ হু, হুইচ, হোয়াট, হোয়েন ইত্যাদির পূর্বে অবস্থান করে এবং সেই পূর্বে অবস্থিত ওই নাউন প্রোনাউন বা নাউন ফ্রেজকে কোয়ালিফাই করে আর মডিফাই করে, অর্থাৎ দোষ, গুণ, সংখ্যা, পরিমাণ, অবস্থা ইত্যাদি বুঝিয়ে। সুতরাং অ্যান্টিসিডেন্ট একটু দূরে থাকলেও থাকতে পারে। ফর এক্সাম্পল, I have found a book in our study which is written by my grandfather. এখানে হুইচটা কাকে কোয়ালিফাই করছে? ওই স্টাডিটাকে নয়, বুকটাকে। কেমন? Now come to question number 3. The old man with a stick in his hand. The old man with a stick in his hand who is walking along the road is the richest man in our village. Okay? you see that the old man with a stick in his hand is the richest man in the village. It is principal clause, অর্থাৎ প্রধান clause. The old man with a stick in his hand is the richest man in the village. এটি প্রিন্সিপাল ক্লজ। সুতরাং এর যে সাবঅর্ডিনেট অ্যাডজেক্টিভ ক্লজ বা সাবঅর্ডিনেট রিলেটিভ ক্লজ সেটি কোনটি? সেটি হলো হু ইজ ওয়াকিং অ্যালং দ্য রোড। হু ইজ ওয়াকিং অ্যালং দ্য রোড। সুতরাং ভিউয়ার্স, তোমরা দেখো যে এখানে অ্যান্টিসিডেন্টটা অনেক দূরে, দি ওল্ড ম্যান। দি ওল্ড ম্যান রিলেটিভ ক্লজ বা অ্যাডজেক্টিভ ক্লজটি কোয়ালিফাই করছে কাকে? না, ওল্ড ম্যানকে। কিন্তু ওল্ড ম্যান অনেক দূরে আছে। লেট আস অ্যানালাইজ দ্য সেন্টেন্স। দি ওল্ড ম্যান উইথ এ স্টিক ইন হিজ হ্যান্ড is the richest man in the village. It is the principal clause. Who is walking along the road? It is subordinate adjective clause বা relative clause এবং qualifying the noun the old man. মতান্তরে কেউ কেউ মনে করেন পণ্ডিতগণ যে এটি টোটাল ফ্রেজটাকে কোয়ালিফাই করছে। দি ওল্ড ম্যান উইথ এ স্টিক ইন হিজ হ্যান্ড, এই টোটাল ফ্রেজটাকে কোয়ালিফাই করছে বা মডিফাই করছে। কোনো কোনো স্কলার বা গ্রামারিয়ান এরকমই মনে করে, কিন্তু আমার মতে ইট ইজ কোয়ালিফাইং দি ওল্ড ম্যান। নাও কাম টু the fourth example. Come to the fourth example. What is the sentence? All these sentences have been written by me for your understanding. It's you who have done this. It's you who have done this. So, it's you, principal clause, who have done this, subordinate adjective clause or relative clause, qualifying the pronoun you. Qualifying the pronoun you. I know that it's very too cold. It's very cold tonight, and all of you are under the blankets and you are not joining or participating in my class. Okay, later you will listen to the video for your understanding and there will be no problem. It's you who have done this, and it is used just to give emphasis, jor debar jonno. It's you who have done this. Clear? Next example. Thank you. Next example, you see, it's she who has committed the crime. It's she, S-H-E-C, who has committed the crime. So it's she, it actually is here, preparatory it, প্রস্তুতিমূলক it. সে যে কাজটা করেছে, এই ক্রাইমটা করেছে। So it's she is principal clause. who has committed the crime, subordinate, adjective clause or relative clause, qualifying the noun, C. Okay. All these grammatical items have been constructed very easy way, in a very easy way, only for you. Next example. On my way to school, just follow the example. On my way to school, I saw 5 kittens in a bush. On my way to school, I saw 5 kittens. Okay, 5 kittens in a bush which were sleeping. On my way to school, I saw 5 kittens in a bush which were all sleeping. So on my way to school, I saw 5 kittens. It is principal clause, no doubt. And which were sleeping, which were all sleeping, subordinate adjective clause or relative clause, qualifying the noun kittens, not the bush. Qualifying the noun kittens, not the bush. So the antecedent is at a little distance. একটু দূরে অবস্থান করছে antecedent. Okay. Now let us come to another example. Last year I went to Kashmir. Last year I went to Kashmir, where I enjoyed many tulips. So last year I went to Kashmir, principal clause, where I enjoyed many tulips. Tulips is one kind of flower. So last year I went to Kashmir, principal clause, where I enjoyed many tulips, subordinate adjective clause, qualifying the noun Kashmir. You see, my dear friends, that where actually an adverb clause or a noun clause begins with where, but here where is suggesting a place. Here where is suggesting a place. So when where is suggesting a place, it is obviously a relative clause or adjective clause. Clear? Because place is a noun. Let us come to another example. Do you know the time? Do you know the time when the train will depart? So do you know the time, principal clause? When the train will depart, subordinate adjective clause, qualifying the noun time. But when suggests adverb clause of time. But here the time is noun. Therefore, it is an example of adjective clause. I hope I am trying my level best to make you understand what adjective clause is, what an adjective clause is or relative clause is. Now let us come to another example. It is an example of relative clause in the continuative sense. Here you will not find any antecedent. How is it possible? For example, the US president has arrested the president of Venezuela and the first lady, which is condemned by the European community. Which is condemned by the European community. So, which is condemned by the European community is actually the total principal clause. The US president has arrested the president of Venezuela and the first lady. The total clause is, the entire principal clause is the antecedent. Okay? It is neither a noun phrase nor a noun nor a pronoun. Clear? Another example. The agricultural growth in India is obviously an indication of the growth of Indian economy. Again, I am repeating. The agricultural growth in India is obviously an indication of the growth of Indian economy, which is the cause of envy, to the other nations. So, which is the cause of envy to the other nations? Is nothing but an adjective clause or relative clause. And the relative clause is qualifying the entire principal clause. There is no noun, there is neither a noun, nor a pronoun, nor a noun phrase. Okay? Good night. Stay safe, stay well. And again, listen to the video so that you may understand what relative clause is, what relative clause in the restrictive sense is, and what relative clause in the continuative sense is. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, please. Nothing else. Good night.